ask yourself the damn question. Is winning the only thing to you?
Sports today are not just played on the field. They're played every day, online, all over the world, by sports fans just like you.
Don't you dare breathe. That won't get you anywhere. If you don't think you're a winner, you don't belong here.
The Star Fantasy League Show puts you in control of your own team. Find out who to sit, who to start, how to play, and have your daily fantasy sports questions answered with your host, Jonathan Sprung, and co-host SFL CEO Zach Stanley and Nick Steblenko. The Star Fantasy League Show is on the air now.
Hello and welcome to the Star Fantasy League Show here on 105.5 The Team in Rochester. I am your host, Jonathan Sprung, joined, as always, by SFL CEO Zach Stanley.
Jonathan, aren't you just so glad that Rochester weather is back?
Okay.
Didn't you miss the Rochester weather?
How do you start a show on Thursday when there's football, Steeler football, saying weather? I don't care what the weather is. I'm not going to be outside today. I'm going to be watching the Steelers.
Is that an official jersey? It doesn't look like an official jersey.
Of course it's an official.
It looks kind of like...
Excuse me?
Well, did you put it in the wash too many times?
I've owned this thing for like 6 years.
Has somebody been pulling on the threads on the jersey numbers?
I don't know.
Looks like everything's frayed.
It's frayed because I've owned it for 6 years. I wear this thing with pride. I am wearing a Ben Roethlisberger jersey. For some reason, both Zach and Jason Gringer's here as well because
it says engineered by Reebok to specifications.
I don't know what that means. Why do you have a problem with these official jerseys? I have three different ones.
If you're going to get an official jersey, you might as well foot the bill for it because that
wow.
doesn't look official to
It's
me.
official. Jason Gringer's also here because sadly we had to let Matt Footer go already. He's only been here a week and he got fired. So that
sucks.
I know. I'm sure he'll be back at some point.
You come in, you don't do your job. That's what happens.
Oh, my God. You went serious with that. Wow. Now, Jason, I was told that you were very upset that you weren't on the radio, so you actually removed him because you have tenure on the show.
Well, I've cleared the league's concussion protocol, so it took a few days.
Well, for some reason, you thought that smashing your head against the wall in anger was smart. I don't know why you did that.
Well, I shouldn't have taken that Molly. I should have made sure it was pure, right?
See, this is why he was on last week. That was last week's news. We're only talking about beating people this week. I'm sorry. We can't talk about things like that.
Although Wes Welker could be back on the field sooner than expected.
Yeah, we decided not to talk about that story.
However, how do the changes that they're making have to do with amphetamines? You know,
it's higher drug testing thresholds for recreational use, which would include things like that.
So
maybe it's like cocaine too.
Feel free to do.
Let's be honest.
Do Molly.
Yeah, let's be honest here. Weed and Molly do not age your performance on the field. There's no way they do.
Well,
stop. Okay,
it's possible that Adderall could.
Yeah, well, Adderall could. I actually agree with that because
up your focus. So if there's
cornerbacks,
amphetamines combined in the Molly,
okay, all right,
it's game day. Better pop my Molly.
I love how we said we weren't going to talk about this on the show today.
Who is this Molly? I don't know Molly.
I feel like that's a Roger Goodell reaction right there. I don't know who Molly is. Let's ban her. Whatever. All right, we got to talk about tonight because, as I mentioned, it's Thursday, and all that matters is that the Steelers are on TV. I'm so excited.
It pretty much is all that matters. I mean, I've been waiting 2 days for football.
The Steelers is all that matters? Yeah, I agree. Thank you.
Oh. I've been impatiently waiting for 2 days to watch more football, and now it's Thursday.
I'll be honest. You do seem a little bit more irritable than the last 2 days because football's not on.
Yeah,
all I hear is Bills, football, Bills.
Well, this is perfect weather for football to come back on, right?
What? So we go inside?
This is football weather.
It does seem like it's mid-October outside.
It's fall. It's getting to be fall. We had soup today.
You know, it's technically still summer for like another 11 days.
Great. We won't be here for the end. Actually, no, we'll still be here.
We'll still be here.
Yay. We get to kind of see the end of the summer in Rochester, New York.
It's going to be 60 at the Bills game.
Oh, that's depressing. What do you carry at the Bills game?
I was ready for it to be like 75.
That is true.
I might have to wear sleeves.
They're playing the Dolphins, so it could be they're used to that hot weather down there.
Yeah, it might be helpful.
A little advantage.
Yeah, look at that.
Nobody can play in 60 degrees, baby.
Yeah,
anybody but the Bills.
Don't you dare come to Buffalo and play in our 60-degree weather.
Exactly. All right, let's move on to the Steelers game. What are the biggest issues coming out of Week 1 for these Steelers? Because we mentioned it before when we were talking about these two teams. The Steelers had definitely a tale of two halves in that game. Ben Roethlisberger had a career high in passing in the first half. The defense looked really good, and then the exact opposite happened in the second half. Ben kind of just was mediocre, and the defense was crap in the second half.
Yeah, I'm kind of more concerned about the defense. I think they've got more than enough weapons on offense. Le'Veon Bell looks sharp. Marcus Wheaton looks like he's ready to be a big
Wait,
part
hold
of
on. Can I say
offense.
this? We have killer bees. They're killer bees. Ben, Brown, and Bell. I want that to be a thing because we wear yellow. I want to be the killer bees.
So nobody has said that yet?
I haven't heard Pittsburgh.
This is your thing?
I want to Ben, Brown, and Bell
well,
should be
I
called the
get
killer.
the
Hold on,
alliteration. I see that.
and Blount too, because you know how much I love LeGarrette Blount.
How much did he play at Sunday? I didn't see.
He had a touchdown. That's all I care about. He'd actually, I think he had
many
like
carries did
4 carries or 5 carries. Yeah, it was 1 touchdown. He vultured, and everyone's like, "Oh, Le'Veon Bell." No, he still had 200 yards, pretty much.
Yeah, Bell exploded.
That was Let's talk about that because could he be the guy that everyone thought Eddie Lacy would be this season, where he's just like, "Oh yeah, he's a top 6 back now."
Well, he's a different type of runner than Eddie Lacy.
Yeah.
He also doesn't have as much explosiveness as some of the other backs in the leagues, but he's very efficient.
He on that 28-yard touchdown run he showed some
He can
pretty
he
decent
can
explosiveness.
scamper. I'm talking about like the top guys. He's not as quick as them, but he's a very efficient back. He looks like he is ready to take that next step. And judging by what occurred in the game in terms of the carry split, you can forget about the whole LeGarrette Blount thing.
Well,
because
let's not forget last year when he came into the game, like he was injured for the first couple weeks of the season. This was after Marquise Pouncey was already gone for the year. That line every single year seems to be just injury. DeCastro wasn't there; he was injured. DeCastro played week 1. Pouncey played week 1. So if you have a healthy line for the Steelers, Le'Veon Bell, the sky's the limit for this kid.
Yeah, if they keep pushing it around like they're doing, he's going to have an awesome season. And everybody who didn't read the news properly to say that this guy's probably not going to get suspended until next year, if at all, and let him drop rounds.
That was really
let him drop rounds
hold
in
on.
the draft.
I got laughed at for taking him in the second round. I got laughed at. I'm pretty sure it was on this show. Somebody went, "Oh, yeah, he's probably going to be gone."
Second round, I saw him going like third.
Well, this was like right at, like I think we did a mock draft the day after the news. He dropped to the second round. I was like, "Okay, thank you."
Yeah, it was foolish. So, yeah, if you got him now, you got to be happy about it because the offense looks sharp. It looks like Wheaton is going to help spread the field on this, and they're going to be set up well to have a solid running attack all year long.
The biggest thing I noticed from that first game, 6 catches for Bell. 6. That is a monster number. If he's doing anything near that, maybe 3-4 catches a game, he's going to have a huge season, maybe 1,500 combined yards. That'd be pretty nice.
Yeah, you got a top guy in your first round. You got to be pretty happy that you got Bell on the way back.
Yep. Very happy.
Antonio Brown had a very nice day.
I mean, I think all year the catches are going to be there. The targets are definitely going to be there. He's Ben's favorite target by far.
Yeah, the only thing that really worried me wasn't the second half offensive production. That was a lapse. I think they'll get it together, and I think that they're going to continue to grow because Wheaton is a new addition. Bell's starting to really find himself.
This whole team's young. For the first time in a while, it seems young.
The defense was a little discouraging against a Browns offense that there's no reason for it.
Although Terrence West looked pretty good.
That's fine. I mean, yeah. They did a good job in the run game. When you don't have a passing game and Jordan Cameron leaves the game, how can you not stop the run?
That's true. That is very true. I mean, they are young. They got Shazier in there, Jarvis Jones, a second-year player. They're hoping some. They got rid of a lot of solid pieces, so it's certainly going to be a learning
process.
curve. Exactly.
Probably, yeah.
All right, let's move to the other side of the ball because we have lots to talk about and only a little bit of time to do it because I hate the Baltimore Ravens. I've said this a million times on the show. Hate them.
Are they your least favorite?
They were the original Browns, so yes, I do hate them the most, even though the Browns are in the league again. But these are the original Browns. I hate them.
Well, it's certainly going to be an interesting night in Baltimore.
Yes.
Favorites?
Yeah. What? Come on.
Yeah.
Are you are you serious?
I don't understand it.
I mean,
I guess certainly if what had happened in the first half in the Pittsburgh-Cleveland game just continued, not even continued, but it just remained, then the line would definitely be different.
This should be a Pittsburgh by one and a half or 2.
They are at home. There's probably going to be some passionate play going on, given the whole situation, but it could also still be just as much a distraction as fuel for them to recoup, get back together as a team, and play well out there.
Well,
so I just don't have, like, if I were to take the Ravens in this game, I wouldn't have any confidence.
No, especially what Flacco looked like on Sunday. Did you guys talk about that one play at the end of the first half?
Oh, no, we didn't talk about that, but that was absolutely brutal. Well, Flacco was trying to look downfield, kept running around with the ball. They're in field goal range. The time gets exhausted, and they end the half.
So we were too busy talking about how Phil Rivers basically did the same thing and got sacked out of field goal range because
this was
again,
worse.
Flacco was way worse.
This was worse.
Yeah,
he said it was the worst play he's ever made.
Well, that's saying something because last year he was pretty bad.
It's possible.
The whole
I'd
Ravens
say an interception is worse.
Yeah. The whole
was
Ravens
bad.
team looked pretty bad.
They did. Bernard Pierce looked awful. Justin Forsett is not the fill-in guy here. Steve Smith looked great, so that's something. But Torrey Smith didn't look like he was anything more than what he was last year.
He's going to get shaded by Ike Taylor in this game, most likely.
And then we had Joe Flacco come out after the game and say, I've seen a lot from Torrey Smith. He's going to be that guy that is able to catch those short passes and turn them into big yardage. When? When is that going to happen?
Yeah, they could be playing from behind a lot this year, especially with they can't move the ball down the field. Tucker missed a field goal. I don't know. That could be a team in shambles this year.
Well, let's not forget the last 10 contests between Pittsburgh and Baltimore have been decided by 3 points or less. This is a thing. This game is probably going to be 24-21 or somewhere around that. I feel more confident with Ben Roethlisberger in a close situation than I would with Joe Flacco in a close situation.
Are we allowed to talk about betting? If
What?
gambling, if I was in Vegas, okay.
Okay, we'll be
All
there,
right,
yeah.
all right. If I was in Vegas and I was a betting man in
Vegas!
I would buy either the half point or the point on the Steelers to get it up to 3.5 and take that all day. Put a good chunk of change down on that. Because if they lose by 3, you win.
Yeah, I'm not going
And
to
I feel great about that.
I'm not going to explain to the Rochester public what buying a point means because, again, sports betting not legal in the state of New York. But yes, I understand what you mean by buy a point. Yes.
And you think that would be a good approach, correct?
Yeah,
I would feel great about it.
I would be okay with the suggestion that you just made on the radio. Yes. Let's talk about quickly this Ravens team. Who steps up in the wake of this just absolute ridiculous thing? You don't have the veterans there. No Ray Lewis. No Ed Reed, who said he is available to be a veteran on this team again. Wink, wink. He tried to kind of get back on the team, basically.
What?
Who? You didn't see that? He made an interview that said, because somebody asked him who's going to step up and be the leadership role. He goes, I'm available.
Ray
It's like,
Lewis said
no. Ed Reed said that.
Oh.
Because, he's bounced around from 8 different teams the past 2
everybody
seasons.
really wants Ed Reed right now.
No, nobody
Well,
wants
what
Ed
about
Reed.
Terrell Suggs?
He's too angry to be a leader. That man is just an angry human being.
Be a leader. He's the man.
He's the
He's
guy
the
there,
man.
right?
What's wrong with Terrell Suggs? He's an absolute boss out there.
Have you heard anything from him since this Ray Rice situation?
I heard he was asked about Ray Rice, and I forgot the answer.
Did he say that's my running back? That's my running back. No.
Do I want it? I mean,
It wasn't Paul
Do you really
George, but-
want him to is being a leader coming out and making
No,
a statement about this?
I'm just saying, where does this team look? Do they look to the coach? Do they look to front office? Who are we looking to actually bring them through
Terrell
this?
Suggs and Joe Flacco, who needs to act like he got a Super Bowl ring. Because it certainly doesn't seem like he did.
I don't remember what you're talking about. Did he actually win a Super Bowl? Jason doesn't remember him winning a Super Bowl either.
Lights out.
All right, coming up after the break, it is time to get away from Joe Flacco and talk about Jonald's mailbag. And you'll listen to the Star Fantasy League show on 105.5 The Team.
The Star Fantasy League Show. Information is key to being a successful fantasy team owner, and the guys have all the updated info you need right now. Okay, fantasy sports fans.
There's a letter in your mailbox.
Time to dig into Jonald's mailbag for your questions and comments.
Read the mail, read the mail, read the mail.
Jump in the game. Send your questions and comments to the Star Fantasy League's team by tweeting at SFL Show.
That is right. It is time for Jonald's mailbag.
Mail time?
Man, you are just so excited to get my segment back, aren't you? Because you get to yell things.
Well, I also get different topics that I can just rant about. So that's fun.
I feel like yesterday we went off on a tangent in this segment, but I don't remember why, and it had nothing to do with the questions. We just completely went off on a tangent.
Because Roger Goodell is driving us all mad.
Yeah, we managed to somehow, we had it written down here to talk about the Roger Goodell FBI probe. I don't want to talk about it at all.
Okay, well, we're going to.
Why? It's not in the questions.
Because there's something that needs to be said.
Okay.
Is there?
Great. See, this is why I brought it up, because go ahead, rant. Whatever you want to talk about with this FBI probe, I'm allowing you the open floor for a few minutes to talk about it. Go ahead.
Well, for one thing, I don't really like the fact that it seems as though the NFL has decided to hire somebody. I mean, is he getting paid to do this outside investigation?
Obviously.
How is it an outside investigation if the NFL is asking them to do it? Like, yeah, okay,
No.
we're going to...
He means an outside investigation as in someone not with the company is investigating the company. It's an outside investigation.
I understand that.
That's what it means.
But how do they get this? How is this agreement constructed between them? And how, so They have no connection with this guy.
It's a search committee who go out and find somebody who's qualified to investigate the situation. That's
It's
pretty
all
much
very
what it is.
weird.
It
It's a very
is, to me,
weird
it's
situation.
like you're trying to clean your reputation up by making a hire yourself. I mean, I really would like to know if it's a hire.
Well, no,
When
it's,
you do an investigation, aren't you getting paid? He's an ex-FBI agent. Somebody has to be getting paid to do this
well,
work.
it seems like it's being overseen. The project itself of hiring was overseen by John Mara and Art Rooney, who are two of the most respected owners in the NFL. So it wasn't Roger Goodell directly. It wasn't any executives. It was the owners that probably called for this investigation, because it seems like they might be losing a little bit of faith in Roger Goodell if they're doing this.
Well, people want this guy's head at this point. I just don't understand.
I'll take 2 arms. I don't need his head.
I don't understand if they're like, well, you know what? We can't find this piece of mail that should be there if they knew about it or some crap like that. I mean, it's already gone way too far. It went too far you didn't ask for the tape. Okay.
No, he did ask for the tape, but he
They
didn't
asked
get
for
it,
the tape,
apparently.
but they didn't get it. Right. And now you have law enforcement saying that they gave them the tape. They're the NFL. They're the most powerful league in the world, pretty much. Yeah, right? Mm-hmm. They're the most powerful league in the world, and they can't get a tape that TMZ was able to obtain.
Yeah, like what exactly is this guy investigating? Is he just like going through emails?
Going through emails to
and
make
mail,
sure that nobody
like,
was like, we can't talk about this.
It'd be really funny if the NSA came on. They're like, no, we already have that information. We've seen that. It happened.
And, I mean, like, isn't there a way to clean out emails?
could you just hit like search for something in
Right,
your
like
computer?
you can get all our resources. We're not going to the paper shredder right
How about
now.
you just hire a young kid from RIT to do it? He could probably do it in 5 minutes.
Yesterday we spent the day going to the paper shredder. Now we'd like you to do an investigation.
Unless they just burned everything. There was just a huge dumpster fire out back, and they burned all their computers and papers.
Great, we're gonna see that next on ESPN on SportsCenter today. It's gonna be like, there was a fire at the NFL offices today. Nobody was hurt.
There's a lot of smoke coming from that building. And better check it out.
Yeah, it's coming from Roger Goodell's office for some reason.
You had the female Senate committee on domestic violence come out and make a statement today. You've got Jon Stewart ranting, Keith Olbermann ranting, everybody.
Keith Olbermann always rants.
Well, everybody on ESPN ranting who are best buddies with the NFL. I mean,
Schefter.
You got this guy has to be done. There's just no way. The league is going to need a reconstruction of imaging, but this little investigation is not going to accomplish that. The ball was already dropped so many times. I don't even care if they saw the tape or not because people are outraged.
The ball was dropped so many times you thought Emmanuel Sanders was involved.
Or Stephen Ridley. They really fumbled that one.
Oh, okay.
You know who was involved, though, actually, was Paul George.
Oh, geez, okay. You know what? Let's move on to the mailbag because we're gonna sadly talk about that. You want me to bring that question
Go
up
right
first?
into it.
All right. Larry B writes, Paul George made waves today when he tweeted some disparaging remarks about the Ray Rice incident. What can be done to avoid this type of insensitivity in pro sports? Like, how does Paul George think it's appropriate after the media has blown this up so huge to just make negative remarks about beating women? Like, are you kidding me?
Okay. I'm
Are you
going
kidding me?
I'm going to admit something that I was
you beat
I was
women?
laughing when I saw this. Yes.
Okay, no, you were laughing in the way that how ridiculous
Right.
this was.
Yes.
Okay, I was like, don't laugh at Paul George's idiocy.
Jason messaged me about it, and I just said, "Ha that is ridiculous."
I agree
because it's so crazy. We know by now, given what some people have come out and said, like Floyd Mayweather. Not surprising at all.
Don't ever talk about.
But
him
there's
again.
a few people that have come out and said, let this guy play. This is over and done with. Blah 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 blah. The fact that they are dumb enough to make these comments, not think them, not say it to their friends.
Yeah, go to their
but
phone
come out
and tweet
on
them.
social media and tell the world absolutely moronic garbage is nuts to me.
And this is a guy who's at the forefront. He's probably top 15 player in the NBA, tweeting this garbage.
Yeah.
The funniest part was his reply, his
statement.
afterward, the grammar in his tweets compared to the ones released after the fact that were obviously given to him.
No, they weren't just given to him. I don't even think he was consulted. I'm pretty sure the Indiana Pacers organization, probably Larry Bird, crafted this himself.
And then he decided to message the NFL after that.
Did he really?
And he texted somebody at ESPN.
Oh, Jesus.
And tried to explain himself, and it was terrible.
Don't explain
yourself. It was like
yourself.
if you're going to prosecute Ray Rice like this, prosecute all criminals. That was like
I did see that.
Yeah. That was basically what he said.
Good line of thinking there, buddy.
Evidently,
He's
Paul
just-
George's thoughts are as skewed as his leg.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just upset about
my.
his leg.
Oh my, that was horrific.
Just sitting at home looking at his leg.
I can't even look at what you just said. I'm just like, I'm picturing that leg now. Thanks a lot, Zach. I thought we were
that
over
was
this.
A little bit of a grotesque imagery.
Yeah, it was. All right, we got to move on because I'm tired of talking about Paul George. I'm tired of talking about Ray Rice. No more Ray Rice questions.
We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Yeah, really. Ray R. writes, no, I'm just kidding. Jim D. writes, the Oakland Athletics have gone from World Series favorites to the cusp of the wild card. What has gone wrong in Oakland? Jason, we
Take
put
it
you
away.
Yeah, we put you on this show specifically to answer this one question today.
Well, on August 9th, they were 4 games up on the Angels.
Okay.
They are now today 9 games back in the West.
Did they not have the best record in the majors as of August 15th? Was that accurate? That's what
Yes.
I read.
Yes.
That's embarrassing.
Since the trade, which I said before the trade even happened.
What trade?
I
Go ahead.
hated
Say
it.
what trade? What big trade did we just make, huh? He hates the
Cespedes
hates
trade.
the Cespedes trade
Yes.
so much.
Yes, I said it before it even happened. Since that trade, they're 15-23. They're 9-20 over their last 29 games. I mean, Detroit's floundered a little bit as well since the Price trade.
Oh, we'll get that. Don't worry.
They're 23-19 since that trade. Not as bad as Oakland.
That's a winning record, though.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a winning record.
And they're getting like no hit by Sale already today. It's just a horrible situation. They can't score runs. They're averaging like 2 or 3 runs a game. Their pitchers basically have to throw a shutout, and it's not looking good. They're still 1.5 up on Detroit, and Detroit's I think is a half a game up on Seattle. There's 16 or 17 games left in the season. I'm not feeling good about
And
this.
they're hanging on by a thread.
They are definitely hanging on by a thread.
And I don't know if you've seen Moss's numbers.
Oh yeah,
It's like
I can barely watch the games.
it's like 170 since June or something.
Yeah,
He's batting.
That's pretty bad. That was a guy we were
The
talking
whole
about all
team,
summer.
really. The whole team except like Donaldson.
I'm telling you.
170 since July 1st.
I'm telling you, Johnny Gomes has ruined the Oakland Athletics.
I think Billy Beane did.
No, I think Johnny Gomes is having too much fun on that team. I saw that. Remember that interview when he did the umpire thing? Having too much fun.
That was like a month or 2 ago. It's
Again,
just
that's when they ruined the team.
crash and burn. I think if they don't make the playoffs, I think Billy Beane's gone.
So you think they're done?
I wouldn't say they're done.
Yeah, how do you
but-
turn? How do you literally?
I don't
How
think
do
they
you
can-
turn it around from here?
Yeah.
Start
well,
hitting?
they play.
Wow, thank you for that idea. Wow, I didn't think of that.
They still have 7 games left against Texas, who is the worst team in the majors.
By
So
far.
that is nice, but I don't know. It's going to be a struggle.
Are you okay?
I'm struggling to just watch these games. At this
Are
point.
are you confident in a 1-game playoff right now, started by John Lester?
No, because I know that they're not going to get any hitting against the guy they're going against, which is probably going to be Scherzer or Price.
You
or
hope to God that
Felix,
it's Justin Verlander
Felix
somehow.
Hernandez. They can't hit any of these guys. They can't even hit a guy coming up from AAA yesterday.
That's sad. Yeah. What about Buck Farmer? You think they can hit Buck Farmer? Is he still in the majors?
I don't think
he probably
so.
got put.
Yeah,
He probably got sent down.
because they got this guy Lobstein that came up and is just dominating.
Okay, how can you be a legitimate pitcher with the name Lobstein?
I don't know. You would
He's
think,
lob
you
him
would
in
think
there?
he'd throw like a knuckleball or something.
That'd be really funny. He's like, I'm gonna lob it in there for you.
Well, that AL Central race is a tight one there too.
You know what?
Back
Let's
and forth.
let's move on to that because there actually is a question about that today. Kim C writes, the upstart Kansas City Royals have once again taken over first place in the AL Central. Yay! How important is winning this division race for both KC and Detroit to avoid the 1-game playoff?
Hey, thanks a lot for the question, Kim. We appreciate it.
I don't know if Kim is like a male Kim or a female Kim. I don't know. I assume it's a male Kim.
What, like
We don't have
An Asian man.
yeah, Asian.
Yeah, like Kim.
Okay, all right. I mean, it's very important. Obviously, you don't want to get into this situation where you have to play 1 game to decide your fate after playing 162, which is bullcrap anyways, in my opinion.
When are they going to get rid of that?
I don't know.
What do you want to play?
Well, it's-
128?
but the thing is that everybody gets so excited about it.
Yeah, the thing is, there's like 5 or 6 teams still in it. I mean, the Yankees are still in it. They're 4.5 back.
Oh, stop that.
Toronto's in it. Cleveland's only 4.5 back. So there's a lot of like intrigue, I guess, that it adds.
Right.
But it should still be 3 games.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, and I think that it's tough just because the later you get into the season, the more they're playing baseball dependent on weather, which is pretty awful. But the Tigers, I'm not overly concerned about it, to be honest. I do like the way that the Royals are playing. Pretty much every time Shields starts like he did last night, he's pitching really well.
Who else, other than Shields, who else are you scared? I know Danny Duffy's having an incredible season, but who else are you actually scared by on this Royals team? Like any of the hitters at all?
Yeah, well, Alex Gordon.
Yeah, Alex Gordon a little
Hosmer's
bit. He's been
back.
hitting well, and I mean, I think that they're a young team that is very encouraged and has a lot of fight in them, and kind of has an us against the world attitude, which can work out for you.
They've got probably the best bullpen in the majors as well, which is great to have.
Yeah,
and their starters are decent.
I still think that the Tigers are going to win this division. I do. I think that Verlander's kind of getting it together with this new guy, Lobstein, who's just a dominant factor. Dude, he's let up like 3 runs in a few starts. It's crazy.
Man, you
and he
switch.
had 10 Ks 2 starts ago.
I'm sorry, but you switch allegiances on these random fifth starters.
Well,
you
come
were
on.
so on the Buck Farmer
How
train.
could you not be on the Buck Farmer train?
What about Robbie Ray? You're on Robbie Ray train?
I was never with Robbie Ray. No, that guy's throwing watermelons up there. So I feel ready about it. I don't really see. Yes, there was some a little regression at when Price came on. Not much though. It's been more that Kansas City's just been on an absolute tear.
They have, yeah.
Yeah, didn't they have a huge winning streak earlier in the season too?
I'd rather take the starting lineup that we have now with the injuries to Anibal Sanchez than have Austin Jackson in the lineup. So I am fine.
All right, no more baseball talk. It's football season. It's Thursday. There's football tonight, and we are talking about after the break. Fantasy football for Sunday. We're breaking all the games down for you. And you're listening to the Star Fantasy League Show on 105.5 The Team.
Play fantasy sports for cash prizes. Join the top daily and weekly fantasy leagues in the country at starfantasyleagues.com. Now, back to the Star Fantasy League Show with Jonathan, Zach, and Nick. Only on The Team.
I think the Cage guy actually saw Nick come back into the office today. He's back from his honeymoon, but he doesn't know that he's not on the show. Is he confused? Again?
I think he saw Nick walk in. He got a little excited.
Yeah, I did.
I got excited.
Yeah,
I haven't seen the big man in a while.
Got a little sun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Got a little fun in the sun.
He looks, like he's got some energy back.
What, you're saying he
Probably ready to eat some Rochester food.
Yeah.
I wonder if the first thing he did was go get a garbage plate.
I did see him at Penfield Hots the other day. That's not true. Not true at all.
Hey.
He really likes the new South Wedge Hots. Okay, we can't advertise about those.
Why?
We like all the Hots places here.
We're
at
not.
Star
We're
Fantasy
not
League.
allowed to smack talk anything, but we are allowed to say how we feel.
compliment.
That's why I just said we're allowed to say how we feel about food.
Well, if I felt really bad about it, I couldn't say it. So.
Exactly, but in a positive way, you can say whatever you want, like Dogtown. Yay!
Yay!
I love how we're just talking about food yet again. It is Thursday on the Star Fantasy League Show, which means we're not talking food today. We are talking fantasy football.
Yay!
Tomorrow, if you're looking for an actual breakdown of everything daily fantasy sports on starfantasyleagues.com, we have the weekend fantasy focus coming up tomorrow. That's the entire show. Right now, we're breaking down the second half of games, including the late games on Sunday, Monday's game, and tonight's game as well. So let's start on tonight's game. We mentioned some guys that we like already, but how about from a fantasy perspective in this Baltimore-Pittsburgh game?
Well, I don't really like much, to be honest. There's nothing really that makes me that optimistic that this is going to be high scoring at all, which is discouraging from the get-go. I think you could potentially see some value in Steve Smith. I also think that the Baltimore run game is going to be a complete mess tonight.
You're not interested in the absolute deepest value in $3,659 Justin Forsett?
No.
No? He had 11 for 70 and a touch last week.
He's not good.
Well, he was involved kind of from the beginning, too, getting a few catches early in the game.
It looks like he is lined up as the starter.
Yeah,
so I
did
guess
he get 4 catches, too?
It provides some reasonable value in daily. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah, we're talking about daily. We're not talking about season long. Justin Forsett for basically the minimum seems pretty juicy to me.
I like it.
Jack's making this face like, nah.
Yeah. Well, and then the thing is that having the Cincy-Baltimore matchup going on last week didn't give us anything to see what this Baltimore defense is actually going to look like, I don't think. And that's a little discouraging when I'm looking at picking some of these Pittsburgh receivers. There's just so many more attractive matchups. I'm going to wait till Sunday, not to mention historically, these Thursday night games, maybe due to the short week, they don't get high scoring very much. They're usually lower than you'd expect on a Sunday.
That is very, very true. All right, another game that for some reason lowest line of the week, and this game just bores me from a fantasy perspective. St. Louis at Tampa Bay.
Oh, that's a hot one.
Oh yeah, 37 over under. I am totally interested in this game.
I think there's some interesting
there's
plays
some
here.
Interesting stuff going on. I don't know if there's many plays that I'd want to.
All right,
there's a couple value punt guys.
Yeah, in GPPs you're gonna need to find some off the cuff, like out of the box ideas, and it might be in this game. But I don't like this game at all.
Well, I like Brian Quick
Of
at
course.
5,400. 7 catches, 99 yards last week.
Zach is like salivating right now. He's like, that's my guy.
Stud.
That's my guy.
And if you wanted to punt the tight end position for Tampa Bay, look at Brandon Myers, only 3,200. 6 catches, 41 yards. He looks like Josh McCown's little dump down.
Yeah, what happened to Safarian Jenkins? Did he get injured in that? He got injured in that game, right?
Yeah, I think he
don't know
did.
what happened.
Yeah, because he caught a pretty big pass early, and then he just disappeared from the game. I remember that happening.
So
Because I was forced to watch that game. Thank you, DirecTV.
I'm interested to see Doug Martin's out there.
yeah,
How he's going to look, because it wasn't a good debut for somebody that was rising up draft boards really quickly. And then on the other side of the
he got
ball,
injured, right? He was injured.
yes,
Yeah.
but they also said that he might have been benched. They mentioned that was a possibility.
Oh,
yes.
goody.
Interesting.
That
Thanks,
he was
Lovey.
ready to come back in, and Forsett was Forsett. Who was it? Rainey.
Bobby Rainey.
Rainey was doing well, and they just didn't put him back in there. On the other side of the ball, I'm also interested to see what Zach Stacy's going to do, because
But you're not picking him, though.
no, I'm not picking him. But this was a guy that I was excited about at the beginning of the year, just because of what he was able to do last year, catching a lot of passes out of the backfield, regardless of whether Sam Bradford was available. So I thought there was a lot of upside here. I'm interested to see whether he can bounce back. He didn't get many looks last game. So.
Yeah, 2 teams that had rough week ones. Could be an interesting matchup.
I know there will be a lot of
Goody.
people.
Nobody's going to be watching this game.
I know nobody's going to be
nobody.
watching it, but I know there will be a lot of people that are looking at the stats on this game to see if their second and third round picks are okay.
Yeah, that's true. All right, let's talk about my Super Bowl matchup this season: Seattle, San Diego. That's right. I'm sticking to it. I'm not going back on this. I still think San Diego's gonna be pretty good. Didn't you say they're gonna be good too?
They're going to start 0-2,
Yes.
come back and go 12-2.
Yeah.
That's a prediction.
12-2. Ooh.
That's what you said. You said
Well,
12 and
you
4.
said
I did. You're
12-4.
right. I did say 12-4.
So they'd have to go 12-2 the rest of the way. If they
I'm
lose
okay with
these
that.
two. All
They're
right.
in a horrible division.
John, there is no way they go 12-4, as I
Okay.
said before.
All right, that's fine.
All right.
I don't want to talk about it. Whatever.
This game, how about Marshawn Lynch?
Yeah.
Percy Harvin, who I think could
yeah.
beat the top 10 in wide receivers this week. And Russell Wilson, pretty attractive if you're weighing a tougher matchup for one of your quarterbacks. He's got a very juicy matchup.
Are you really spending up for him? I don't. Although that defense looked all right for a half.
San Diego.
Yeah, they looked pretty good in the first half there.
They looked okay.
Except when Michael Floyd decided to start playing football and just caught everything.
Yeah, Percy's the one guy I'm targeting here, I think. He had a great week 1. He looked good. He looked fresh. He had 41 rushing yards.
Fresh. He hasn't played football in
7
like 3
catches.
years. Of course
He looked great.
Yeah, he looked good.
Explosive.
Wilson was looking his way most of the game. They seemed to be getting him involved like they said they would when they traded for him last year from the Vikings. So
Marshawn Lynch could run over these guys.
Yeah,
Like
that sounds
they
right.
did a pretty decent job on the run against Andre Ellington, but otherwise they looked a little small.
yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he bowls them.
All right, let's move
Beast
on.
mode.
Let's move on. Houston at Oakland. Oakland is really bad. I like going after them for fantasy pretty much any time, and I think there's some nice value in Arian Foster here. Arian Foster just proved he got all the carries in the world, every single one of them. He's only 11,500, which is near the bottom of elite running. Like that's way at the bottom of elite running backs.
Yeah, he got the
27
full amount of
carries.
carries,
Yep.
and he came out of the game with no problems, no issues. And this is a game in which Houston could get up fairly significantly, and they could resort to the run game and just try to drown this clock a little bit.
And we saw what the Jets did last week against Oakland. Ivory ran all over him. Chris Johnson had a great game. So Foster could be in for a big day here, and his price is nice.
Ooh, I like that.
Price is nice.
Price is nice.
Rhyming.
He thought it was a pun, though.
Rice.
Stop it. No, you can't do
Well,
that.
They're in Oakland,
Yeah?
Bay Area.
Yeah?
Jerry Rice.
Oh, you're allowed. See, we said it yesterday. You're allowed to mention that Rice on the air. That can happen. Anybody else you're targeting in this game? Because I do think this is going to be a blowout.
Fitzy.
Yeah?
He's only 11,000.
Fitzy and Andre Johnson is not a bad play if you want to put those two guys together.
And Arian.
Yeah, you'll get a lot of value out of Fitzpatrick, I would say, this week. And
Yep, just under 12,000.
having the number one in there, I don't know about the whole DeAndre Hopkins thing.
Yeah, he's 9,000. I mean, just spend up to get Andre Johnson, please.
Might
just
as well at that point.
Yeah, just do it. All right, another game I kind of don't really like all that much because of the blowout potential. New York Jets at Green Bay Packers. 8.5 is the spread, 46 over-under. Eddie Lacy probably going to play.
He got cleared today.
Yeah.
So he was in full pads during practice, but the Jets had the best run D last year, so I would stay away from Lacy.
When does blowout potential even come that big of a concern? Middle of the fourth quarter?
Yeah, so
I mean, if It's more than enough time for Aaron Rodgers to torch these guys.
Yeah, and he's the 8th ranked quarterback on Star Fantasy Leagues this week, only at 17,000.
And he could put up top 3 numbers.
We were talking about Boykin as well. He was
Boykin,
6,000.
Yeah, Boykin, who was shadowed by Richard Sherman on the right side that whole game. He could easily be the guy that gets the value out of this game.
That's a nice little deep sleeper right there. He got nothing, right? A big bagel.
0 passes thrown his way, I think.
Yeah.
Or towards Richard Sherman. We saw the over-unders 3
Jarrett
this
Boykin
week.
goes from 0 to hero.
0 to 60 yards.
I love Aaron Rodgers this week, and I like the whole Green Bay wide receiving core. If Eddie Lacy ends up not being able to go, I think you'll like him even more. Because I don't think you'll see as many touches.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, one more game we got before the break.
Yeah.
I don't.
Perfect. That was my analysis from Jason.
Oh, I thought you meant me. I was like,
I already elaborated on Rodgers.
yeah, that works a little bit. Nobody wants to talk about Green Bay. Come on. Nobody likes Green Bay.
Yeah.
Except Nick.
Get out
Nick's
of here,
not Exactly. He's already gone. You can't tell him to go away.
Go back to Mexico.
Hey, just remember, though.
That's racist.
Just remember, if the Bills manage to pull out the win at the Ralph and Green Bay throws the smackdown on the Jets, top of the division alone.
God.
Can you imagine?
You are so delusional.
Can you imagine?
He's so delusional.
2 weeks into the season. It's the Bills' year.
And by week 4, they're in the bottom of the division.
Dude, I can't remember the last time we were on top of the division, so
That is true.
even if it's week 2, that'd be fine with me.
All right, let's talk about a team that went from the top of the division last year to probably going to be in the basement. How about Kansas City and Denver? Kansas City's bad. Bad.
I know they are, but this is always strange for me, and it's hard for me to be sure of what is going to happen in these type of divisional situations.
What are you talking about? Nobody exists on this defense. Brandon Flowers gone. Derek Johnson injured. They just I don't know who scares me on this defense.
I'll tell you one thing. I'm not taking them I'm not taking Denver in my survivor.
Of course you're not.
I'm going to wait for a juicier matchup that isn't divisional.
So like Green Bay, New York.
Yes, I'm taking
Green Bay. Yeah, Green Bay should be the pick.
Kansas City played them tough last year.
Yeah, last year.
But,
Okay.
no.
I don't know, man. I don't
Denver's-
know. It
Alex
makes
Smith,
me nervous.
right?
We see this stuff all the time in divisional matchups where there are upsets, closer games than you think might happen. I'm not saying that's going to be the case, but it's possible. It's always possible in a division matchup.
The spread was like only 8, right?
It's 13 and a
12 and a
half.
half. I have right as of this show is 12 and a half. I don't know. I mean, everybody's going to get theirs. I think the best value in this game is probably Emmanuel Sanders still. He's just under 10,000. Julius Thomas shot up to almost 14,000 on StarFantasy.com.
And Demaryius Thomas is lower than Julius.
Yeah,
now.
13. Well, because he didn't get as much
Right.
production.
He had only 4 catches.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you're going to assume at least 2 of these 3 guys are going to go off.
I'm going to assume that Demaryius Thomas is the top receiver this week in the NFL. I think
so?
I think that's more than possible, and the value is huge.
We saw Peyton likes to spread around, get his guys who didn't, maybe have a good game the previous week. So
He can
Somehow-
be what, top 5, and I'm getting my value?
Oh yeah.
Somehow
he's
even-
the 8th ranked
the
wide
8th
receiver
ranked.
right now.
Somehow even Brandon Stokely caught a pass, and he's not even in the league anymore. How's that possible?
Demaryius Thomas must play.
Well, we saw Latimer did not really play at all
Yeah,
last week.
stop
so
it with it. That's season long. We know it's Cody Latimer. Get
Caldwell
out of here
had
with
a
that.
few passes thrown his way.
That's what people said. It would be Caldwell early in the season, and then maybe Latimer would get involved late. I mean, for Daly, you don't want to take flyers on guys that haven't done anything yet.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way to get a big 0 spot in your lineup.
I saw quite a few people had Latimer last week.
Did they really?
Yeah.
On StarFantasy.com, people
Yes.
put
Yeah,
Cody
they did.
Latimer
Yes,
in.
They did. They thought he was going to be the new excitement guy that Peyton starts throwing to. And
I
likes
hate
and
to
whatever.
say, but I think those people that put in Cody Latimer should probably listen to the Star Fantasy League show.
Okay, I did say something about Cody Latimer last week.
For Daly?
Yeah?
Oh, stop with
He was
that.
at the minimum.
Stop with
He was
that.
at the minimum. I didn't trust Caldwell.
Oh, my God. What is wrong with
X
you?
Factor.
Stop it. All right, coming after the break, we have 2 more games on Sunday to break down before we're done with Week 2 Fantasy, before the weekend fantasy focus on tomorrow's show. And you're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on 105.5 The Team.
You're listening to the Star Fantasy League show. Contact the StarFantasyLeagues.com guys via Twitter at SFL Show.
We are back on the Star Fantasy League show, and we have late breaking news yet again on the show. Emmanuel Sanders dropped another pass over the break.
Did he?
Does that joke still work?
In practice?
No, because he was freaking dominant.
You will shut your mouth.
He looked amazing.
Is it because of Peyton Manning's excellent leadership that he just stopped dropping balls?
He had the most targets on the team, I think, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he did.
Are you sure you didn't just overthink this a little bit, John, and maybe he's the man?
I'm not the only person who thinks that Emmanuel Sanders has drop issues.
Well, doesn't everybody in Pittsburgh Steelers Nation think that because they're also a little...
No, we thought it last season when he was sucked for us and he just kept dropping really important balls. This happened. I wasn't delusional. I was watching all the games last year.
Maybe Ben wasn't throwing the spirals.
Maybe Ben had too. He's got too good of an arm, and Peyton's got that old arm and just lobs him in there now. Softer.
Not lob them.
Yeah, no. This is Jason's attempt at sarcasm right now, and it's not really punning out for me.
Foolish.
It's not working.
Right. Clownery.
It's not Brandon Workmaning for me. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to try horrible punning that Jason attempts. Not going to happen. All right, we got 2 more games to talk about before we end this horrible show we're having today. I'm excited for tomorrow. We got Weekend Fantasy Focus coming up. StarFantasyLeagues.com talking about daily fantasy football exclusively. I'm excited.
You know what's going to happen is this whole season's just going to fly by, and then I'm going to be waiting again.
And then you're going to be complaining when it's basketball. You're not going to. You love basketball too.
I love basketball. It gets me through the winter.
NBA.
Yeah. What do we? Where's our franchise? Where's our D-League franchise? Huh, Rochester? You said it was going to happen. It didn't happen.
The Razor Sharks?
No. Yeah, D-League.
I think they're joining up in as part of the D-League clan, actually.
Oh, okay. I'm all right with that.
And there are, teams that, I don't really know how it all works.
They share teams.
Yeah, they share teams.
They're looking to eventually have one each. That's what it's going to be. You get, 30 D-League franchises?
Why don't they?
Because they don't have that many D-League franchises. That's the point.
Oh.
All right, we got 2 more games to talk about before we're out of here. We got Chicago, San Francisco. Oh, my God, there's so much value in this game on San Francisco's side. I love it. I love it.
Gore
and
Bolden.
And Vernon Davis under 10,000 and Bolden under 10,000. Although I'm worried about Bolden only because Crabtree didn't seem like he was fully healthy in that game. Was that accurate?
That or I don't know. They just didn't really throw his way that much for some reason. But
was he more of a? Do you think he's more of a decoy in that game? Maybe he wasn't feeling 100%. They kind of just trotted him out there.
What's Crabtree at?
10,000.
Yeah, he's around 10,000. Everybody on this team's around 10,000.
It sounds like everybody's in play, and with all the talk that Vernon Davis is not going to be able to reach his TD mark that he got past last season, well, all of a sudden,
first quarter
right out of the gate. So I was like, oh, there he is in the end zone again. Yeah. So which is, it shouldn't really be that surprising anymore. He's the big target. He's the big guy in the end zone.
As long as the turf holds up there in San Francisco, Levi Stadium.
Is it worse than Houston, though, where people just fall into the turf? Yeah?
Yes, it is bad.
Oh, no,
they've already replaced it 4 times.
Jason's run on both of them.
Yeah, not good.
Who knows?
Not good.
Yep.
Not too
Frank
happy.
Gore, though. Yeah, Frank Gore, definitely
Even
a great opportunity
Carlos
to get some
Hyde.
value there. Why am I starting Carlos Hyde?
He's only 5,000.
So?
He had 50 yards and a touchdown.
Stop it.
I don't see it happening.
All right, quickly, last game, Philly, Indianapolis. Anybody interested in anything here?
Yes.
Yeah?
Everything?
The whole team.
I know.
What is the over-under on this game?
112. It's actually it's 53.5. It's one of the higher over-unders. I know that you should be interested in this game. I'm just saying quickly because the show's over, guys. Come on. Give me some value here.
I would say that
Reggie Wayne.
I can see Reggie Wayne being in the top 5 of receivers this week.
How about Ahmad Bradshaw catching 5 balls for 70 yards?
How about somebody that's going to catch more? I know he was concussed during this game, but Darren Sproles, 84.75. Oh, boy, I like him.
How about Trent Richardson not making anybody feel any better?
If you drafted him, yeah, that's a horrible decision. All right, if you drafted him and you want to play daily games to save your season, StarFantasyLeagues.com is a bonus offer for you. Free 14, FREE14, 100% bonus to $2,000 and an $11 credit directly into your account. We have over $12,000 in guaranteed prize pool contests this weekend for NFL Week 2. You excited?
I can't wait. I'm already getting my lineups in order.
That's true.
You'll be on your phone tailgating in Buffalo.
Yeah, that is true. You'll be doing that at the
Go
Ralph
Bills.
All right, and if you manage to ruin your season by drafting Trent Richardson early, and it's already over, play on StarFantasyLeagues.com. Take it easy, guys.